Hello, kindred spirits. So today I'm going to be trying something a little different. I'm going to be making a project, but it's kind of just going to be in the background and you can watch a project go together, and I'm going to just chat about a little bit about what I'm doing, as well as just kind of around the subject of that video's project. So this time it's about corsetry. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because although I have now made 2 corsets, I am in no way qualified to help anybody else, as I am just dangerous enough to know slightly what I'm doing, but not enough to advise anybody else. I kind of want to make this a series as well, especially for those who enjoy watching something to go together, but they don't really want all the nitty-gritty of it. So let me know if that's something you would enjoy. The working title for now is Hemming and Hawing, because I thought it was kind of catchy as well as slightly funny, but if you are a better joke maker than I and have a better suggestion for what we could call this series, let me know. But with that, let's get into making a corset. So today I'm working on a corset because I got distracted from what I was supposed to be doing. I'm using a pattern off Etsy that I chose that is for the right historical era. I can't link it in the description below, but I will leave the reference, and I will put her name for her Etsy business as well as which of the patterns I used. It doesn't come with instructions, and some of it's in French. She does have a website with a lot of how to make corsets and how to read her patterns, but you do have to put it through Google Translate, which I had no problem with. I understood what she was trying to say, so that was fine. So for this project, I chose a thicker cotton canvas. The original called for a cotton coutil, but I couldn't find any online that I really liked that had a print to it, so I chose a thicker cotton canvas fabric for this. It worked really well. I did some tests just to make sure it wouldn't stretch funky before I started out, but yeah, I really liked it, and it has a nice pattern to it. The original was a black cotton coutil with polka dots, and I kind of wanted something similar. And this one it's brown and has a vague polka dotty flower motif, but you can't really tell once you cut out all the shapes. So I was okay with the vagueness of the pattern, and I really liked it. So for this, I started out with the pattern tracing and cutting out all the pieces. In this video, I'm not showing as much as I have in the other ones. I am no way an expert at making corsets. This is only the second one I did. I have watched and listened to instructions in college, but it wasn't something I had done myself before. I tend to be somebody who's pretty confident in myself, and I'm willing to take a risk, and I'm very happy with how this came out, so I'm glad I took the risk and jumped into the deep end. Not for everybody, I totally understand that. So as I mentioned, this was kind of a distracted project. I was supposed to be working on the white shirtwaist, and I got very distracted. I was looking at Pinterest and seeing all the pretty corsets, and I was like, I really want another corset. I'm not willing to pay for one, and I want to try my hand at making another one. The first one I made a few beginner mistakes, and I wanted to try again with the things that I learned from the first one, and I had so much fun with this. I actually really I have found out I really like making corsets. Not something I just want to specialize in, but I definitely enjoy the process, and it's a nice in-between project to take me away from all the shirtwaists I've been doing. So the reason I chose this particular pattern is because it is really easy. There is 2 main body pieces and 3 inserts, and that is it. And it is very straightforward as far as putting it together. It is 2 hip inserts, 1 boob insert, and that is it. And then you flat fell them, and bada bing, bada boom, done. I definitely learned a lot from my last time. It was too big last time. I didn't leave enough room in the back to be able to actually compress down and make good adjustments when I am lacing in. Yeah, I just didn't leave enough room. Also learned with the last corset, because I'd never worn a corset before, that I can compress down quite a bit because I'm mostly flubber. And so it just all kind of squishes down, and so I can compress down pretty comfortably about an inch. And yeah, I can compress down to 4 inches if I want to be slightly uncomfortable. So I definitely did not have enough room in the corset before, and then I would do, the thing I learned was like, I'd sit down and everything would shift because it wasn't tight enough on me. So definitely a lesson learned there. Did the math to be too big because I was overly concerned that it would be too small. Also learned that I prefer to wear a corset than a bra. For me, the corset provides more back support and is a firmer hold without riding up on me. And I was a bra fitter for about a year, and I still cannot get a bra for the life of me to fit me correctly and in a way that is comfortable for me. And corsets, for whatever reason with my body shape, are extremely comfortable for me. So that was very interesting to me. I think it's kind of just up to preference and like body type, what's more comfortable, but for whatever reason, yeah, corsets do the trick for back support. And it makes me wish that I had tried them earlier, because I've always suffered from back pain, and having the extra support. It does make you stand straight, so when I first started wearing them, like, I had still some back pain, but it went away after a while because it had trained me to not slouch. So when I'm wearing it, I don't slouch, and when I first started wearing them, yeah, I had some back pain from actually using my back muscles to stand up straight. But as far as like having to hold my chest up, the corset just gives really good support. Another reason that I really love corsetry is, well, first of all, I love Victorian clothes because your actual body is not on display and you're faking everything, and I love that. I tend to be very self-conscious in some ways, and also I want to look different than what my actual body looks like, and learning how to fake that has been so freeing. So I have a really high waistline, and a corset helps me lower the waistline a little bit, as well as get a better hip to waist ratio than I actually have. That was one of the mistakes I made in the last corset, is the hip to waist ratio I was not happy with. This one I'm very happy with. But yeah, when I wear Victorian clothes, I want to have a larger hip to waist. And I can fake that with a corset, and I love it. I love that I can just fake everything about how I look and look exactly how I want to in my imagination with just a little bit of padding and some fashion magic. To anybody wanting to try this themselves, my advice would be thus. A, do some research, take your time with research. Watch videos, do some reading, look at some different patterns. Take your time when constructing. Don't feel like you need to rush through. I am a completionist and I suffer from wanting it done yesterday, and I will sometimes sacrifice doing something right for having something done. And yeah, just take your time, really make sure you have good markings, make sure you're marking everything out well. One thing that I found really helpful, at least with this particular pattern, was I had marked out all of the boning channels when I first made the pattern pieces, but I also went back after I had sewn things together and marked them out again, so they were a bit darker, so I could really see them clearly and line everything up very exactly. And yeah, just take your time. Don't rush through it and do your research. One thing you might find interesting about making a corset, at least for me, is that it calls on a different part of my brain than when I make a shirt or a dress or a skirt. Making a corset is almost architectural, and in that I mean it feels more like engineering with fabric rather than making an artistic piece. So I have to call on a lot less of my art side when I'm doing these, and I kind of enjoy having that rest on my art and like having to come up with inspiration. This is just, here's the engineered piece, this is what it's meant to do, here is what is required, and done. There's not a whole lot else that's piled on top of that. My dog is just losing his mind in the background. Sorry about that. Making this corset was definitely a palette cleanser. I'm making a bunch of shirtwaists in a row. The reason I do this is because it kind of helps me keep in the mindset of like how to build a certain object, because I have to do a lot of research in between to see how things were built, and I had to redo that research if it's been a while. Odd, I admit, I know that not many people would look at a corset and say, yep, that's a relaxing break from doing a project that you've had to research a bunch, but this was perfect in the break I needed, so I had a lot of fun with this project. So I tried to be as meticulous as I could with my patience level on this project, especially because it's only my second corset, but I am so happy with how this corset came out. The original did have like some lace and stuff up top, and I decided just to add some burgundy flossing to give it some interest and some prettying up and some texture. But I just wanted it to be more basic, especially because it's going to be like my everyday corset. But I am so pleased with this. It is so comfortable to wear. It is so comfortable to wear, and it's tight enough that it won't shift around to me and be uncomfortable like the last one, and I'm very pleased. I love how it looks on me. It gives me hips! I don't have hips! I have a butt! I don't have hips, and it gives me hips, and I am so happy, and the skirts look amazing over it, so I am so pleased. This was such a fun project to make, and I loved making this video as well. I had so much fun with it. I hope you enjoyed the hemming and hawing, and until next time, my friends, happy sewing.